So this is still 5.1, but it's part B. I'm trying to break this down into small sections so you can get it. All this talks about is when we have a coefficient that isn't 1 out here. When a that's in front of our x squared is a number that is not 1. So when this happens, we use a method called the AC method to help us factor by grouping. What's important about that is I'm fixing to show you how we get the zeros from this to start with. So we take each of these factors, say 3x minus 5. Same thing we did before, we set that equal to 0. We start moving stuff to solve for x. Now, here's going to come the problem for some of you. You're not going to see that as 1.67, which it is equal to. You may need a calculator up to be able to convert fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. But this is one of the zeros for that factor. Then if we look at 2x plus 1, and I set it equal to 0, as I move this 1 over, I get 2x equals negative 1, right? Divide both sides by 2. I find out that this 0 is going to be at negative 1/2. Now, when I graph that, that's what I'm going to get. Another thing is the same FOIL method. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. Sorry, let me scoot down a little bit with my writing there. Give you more room. 6x squared. That's the first times the first. The outer times the outer is 3x times positive 1, so plus 3x. Inner terms multiplied together, negative 5 times 2x would be negative 10x. And then the last terms, negative 5 times positive 1 would give me a negative 5 here. Now, as I combine like terms in the middle, positive 3, negative 10 becomes negative 7x, keeping that negative 5 on the end and keeping this 6x squared. Now, that's the quadratic for these factors with these zeros, okay? That's all you're doing. Now, in the calculator, what I need you to do is first find the zeros. So we're going to graph that and find the zeros, and then I'm going to show you how to write those factors. So here's example 3. If I factor it or graph it on Desmos, what I'm going to find is where these two zeros are. When I click on them, it'll pull up those coordinate points. So in this case, I've got a negative 2.50, and over here I've got a 0.50. Change that negative to a positive. Remember how to do that? So that's what it equals here. But when I write it as a factor, it's x plus 2.5. And here it is 0.5, 0.5. And as I write it as a factor, it's x minus 0.5. Now, knowing that this 2.5 is 5 over 2, x plus 5 over 2, knowing that this is 1/2, then I got x minus 1/2. So I can multiply both of these by 2 to get that over here, to get it all rearranged. There's just the factors of this are right there at positive 5/2 and minus 1/2. Try this one on your own. I want you to look, if you didn't catch this. Boy, I got problems today. So this was this problem, not this one. I worked this problem up there. So let's do this factor this in your calculator now. All of this went together in the box. Sorry. Let's pull this one down here and write it out. So I find these two zeros at -5, which is a -1/2, right? -1/2. And a positive 0.667, which is 2/3. So if I write that as x equals, that's my two zeros. And in order to move all this back around, of course, I can just add it over. Or I can say, multiply both sides of this by 2. And then I get 2x equals -1. Add that -1 over. I wind up with 2x plus 1. There's a zero. There's a factor. Same thing here. Multiply both sides by 3. Get 3x equals 2. Take that -2 back, that 2 over by making it negative, and I get 3x minus 2 as the factor. There's the two factors. Try this one and see if you can come up with the factors for this one. Okay, so here's example 4. 12x squared minus 22x minus 20 gives me these two zeros. Let's see if I can scoot that over so you can see it good. So if I have x equals -0.667, which is -2/3, right? And x equals 2.5, I would suggest that you take these decimals. First thing you do is convert them back to fractions. So 2.5 is 5/2, because 2 will go into 5 2 times with half left over. So that's your fraction here. The fraction here is the -2/3. Multiplying both sides by 3, I get 3x equals -2. Add that back over for 3x plus 2. There's the factor. This one, multiply both sides by 2 to give me 2x equals 5. Take that 5 from here, move it over there by subtracting it, and wind up with 2x minus 5 as the second factor. So Desmos can give me these zeros, and I need them. If I'm going to factor anything, I need these zeros. That's this part. Get that from Desmos. Remember that it's better to have fractions, okay, than decimals. Fractions than decimals. But this is the process. This was video B. I'm going to come back and do one more short video to finish up lesson 5.1.